Hi Murph, thanks for the comment. It cost me $190.
You should check out using a low-speed, high-torque die grinder. Way more control at lower speeds without having to barely feather the throttle and having basically zero torque below like 10,000 RPM. Not cheap, but you're only going to buy once, and every time you use it, you will love it.
Just kidding. Thanks for that comment, seriously. I didn't even know these existed at this low of an RPM range. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to run you guys through it and give you my initial thoughts on it. And I know this is going to be beneficial for several applications. A lot of them I'm going to still want the higher RPM one, but I know this is going to be great. First off, let's check out the RPMs with a little El Cheapo tachometer from Amazon. I'll leave a link below for this. All you got to do is get this reflective adhesive tape and put it on whenever you're spinning and checking. And my air compressor is at like 140 psi right now. Okay, that was obviously erroneous. Okay, wrap tape around it this time so I don't get a false reading saying it's spinning as fast as a turbocharger from all the reflections coming around. After getting this and seeing how low of RPM it spins, I know it's going to be great for stainless work. It's probably got, see how it's quite a bit longer. It's probably got some sort of planetary gear set back here for the gear reduction, more torque, low RPM. So that's great for stainless work because you don't want to spin your bits too fast and create too much friction because stainless work hardens and then it makes it even harder to cut and then it ends up smoking your bits. So this, the idea with stainless is lower RPMs and a heavier material removal rate because when you're cutting into it, the thicker chips you can cut at a slower RPM, that heat ejects out and it doesn't soak into the part and work harden. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, that worked great. I had it pinned and I was leaning all my body weight down on it trying to stall it and it wouldn't stall. And you can see that there is no overheating. That is completely, there's no discoloration at all, so you know that's great and it's gonna make your bits last longer. So if you ever have a buddy over to your shop that doesn't metalwork much, let him borrow this one so he doesn't ruin your bits. That worked out great except for the little part of operator error where I let it jump out because I was looking up at the camera for make sure you guys had a good camera view. So a few things that I know I wouldn't like that for is polishing because you need more RPMs to get friction to help melt and smooth the metal out for a good finish. And I know I won't use it for these sanding wheels, for polishing out the inside of intakes or smoothing over weld joints because this will spin, any of these other ones will spin faster for a quicker material removal rate. And what I really like about these two is the mass of them. These littler ones are kind of nice, I guess, if you had to get into a tight spot, but they don't have near as much power. And then the weight of them is a downfall because if, you just saw in that last part where I was hogging down on that stainless and it chattered and jumped out. So if you have a lighter one, it's even more prone to chatter around because it's not as heavy. I think I'm going to like this one better still for aluminum material removal though, because it's a higher RPM. And if you're really, if you're good with your hands and you've been doing this for a while, this is pretty much an extension of your hand. And you can just barely give it the lightest amount of pressure and I know it's going to be more intricate. Whereas this one at a lower RPM with that wide flute spacing, I think it's going to be more prone to grab and try to jump out. Okay, this is a piece of aluminum that I melted down. This is entirely pop cans. You probably didn't see this video because YouTube likely didn't recommend it to you, so you got to go back and check it out if you want to. If these are the only bits you have, like if you're just general purpose and you're not aluminum specific fabricator like I am, you probably don't have these. I'll leave these in a link below too. These are great for aluminum material removal. But the good thing about these bits in a low RPM is they are way less likely to clog up because aluminum melts at a way lower melting point than steels. So if you don't know what you're doing with a normal die grinder, then you get it going way too fast and too hot and you end up gumming up your bits. That gets really bad with high-speed grinders. I'm going to try that same bit in this higher RPM grinder. So this higher RPM one was a lot faster material removal rate, but you could probably see how bad it was chattering and trying to hop out. And then all that heat clogged up the tip. And probably more often than not when I'm die grinding, it's going to be something that I'm going to weld. So I don't want to use any fluids because I don't want them to pack into my weld joint because I have to clean those back up before I weld it so it's not a filthy, ugly mess. And I get a lot of comments from people recommending isopropyl alcohol for a cutting fluid on aluminum. And the benefit I can see to this is it's going to evaporate and not leave a film in and not pack into your weld joint, so that's good. But I have my doubts just because of how thin it is. I'm assuming it's going to work decent, but you're going to have to keep reapplying it a lot to have it actually work. Okay, let's see how this goes. See if that'll clean off those galled up spots. Okay, that didn't work to remove it. I didn't think it would. But so another piece of advice, this is just aluminum TIG rod, and that was like my last dip on a weld joint. And I like to use this because it's typically got a sharp little spot on it, just to pick out any clogged areas if you do get them, instead of some hard steel pick, you know, where you're potentially dulling your bits. Okay, let's give this a try again. I just don't think it's going to work that great because of how, like I said, how thin it is. You get all these RPMs going, it's just going to fling it all off. You'll constantly have to be reapplying it. So that isopropyl alcohol was pretty much worthless in this scenario, but I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to do a tapping video with it in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. So thanks for the comment, Murph. I appreciate it. Hopefully this made a good educational video for everyone. Let me know in the comments below. What I'm going to do is just use this one for all my steel working with these higher flute spaced bits, and then just continue using the higher RPM one with the wider flute spacing for aluminum work. Thanks for watching.